Hello, Kidzone. It's Mrs. Randy. We have a pretty special treat. Pastor Jason is going to be telling you a Jesus story. For the next number of weeks, while we can't be together, we thought this would be a fun way to explore some of the pretty cool stories about Jesus in the Bible. So Pastor Jason will tell us a story and wait till the end because there's going to be some questions that we can all work through together.
Hey everyone, this is Pastor Jason, and I'd like to share a Jesus story with you. This one's called Jesus and the Storm. Well, one day, Jesus was with his disciples, and he said to them, guys, we're going to take a trip. We're going to take a boat, and you see that big lake over there? We're going to cross it. Well, some of the disciples were fishermen, and they looked at that lake, and they knew that lake sometimes gets pretty rough. It's been known to have some pretty big storms. And they looked at the boat that they were going to use. It was a pretty small boat. They were a little bit nervous. But they thought, okay, Jesus usually knows what he's doing, so let's trust him. So they all got in the boat and they set sail. Well, a little time passed by. The day went on. It was pretty uneventful. And then nightfall came. And suddenly, there was a big storm, just as they had worried about. And this was a big E, like a big storm. There was the wind was just gushing. The waves were crashing into the boat. I mean, these guys were terrified. Some of the disciples were just screaming, what are we going to do? And they look for Jesus. And you know what he was doing? Jesus was asleep. Jesus was asleep in the boat during this big storm. Well, the disciples are looking at each other. What do we do? One of them says, you know what? Maybe we should wake him up. So they go over to Jesus and they nudge him and say, Jesus, we got something for you to do here. Remember that trip you just told us to take? Well, it's turning into a disaster. We're kind of in the middle of a big storm here and you're sleeping. Well, Jesus got up and looked at the guys calmly and said, guys, what is going on here? Don't you remember that time when I cured that guy who couldn't walk? I said, you get up, and he got up, and suddenly he could walk. Do you remember that? And they kind of nodded. Keep in mind, the waves are crashing here. Jesus is taking time for a speech during this, during this storm. They're nervous, but they're listening. Then he said, you remember that time when that demon was around, and I said, get out of here, and it went, and just like nothing? They said, yeah, we remember that. Well, why don't you trust me now? You are having such little faith right now. Don't you think that I can help you in this storm? Well, they were kind of feeling pretty embarrassed at this point, but they thought to themselves, well, in our defense, we've never been in a storm situation before here, Jesus, so we don't know what you're going to do. And we saw you sleeping, so we were kind of nervous. We said, okay, guys, okay. And he stood up. And you know what he did? He looked at the waves, he looked out at the waves, and he said, silence, waves, wind, be still. And you know what happened? Everything was still. The waves stopped, the wind stopped. Suddenly, it was calm. You could hear birds chirping. It was peaceful. And the disciples, they looked at one another, and they said, oh my goodness, who is this that even the wind and the waves obey his command? He speaks to them and they listen. Who are we following here? This is absolutely incredible. And the trip continued and they made it safely to the other side. And this was a day or a night they would never forget. And that's the end of our Jesus story for today.
Hi guys, that was a pretty awesome story. I don't know, I think I would have felt a lot like the disciples if I was on that boat. Pretty scared during the storm. It was really cool how that Jesus story turned out. If you guys want to get a pen and paper, because our very first question, you're going to get creative. So question number 1, draw your favorite part of the Jesus story, the Jesus and the storm stories. So you can draw your favorite part of that. And then question number 2 is going to be, how would you feel if you were on the boat with Jesus during the storm? Question number 3, what storms are there in your life that Jesus can help you through? Well, that's our Jesus story for this week. I really hope that you enjoyed that, and we would love to hear back from you. So if your parents want to Facebook us, a message, or email us with the pictures that you drew, that would be amazing. And until next week, guys, please stay safe, be healthy. We love you so much and can't wait to be together again. Bye for now.